What's up everybody, I'm Matt Brody and this is Simply Must Go, and today we're going to talk about batteries and power solutions for when you're out overlanding or on the trail, and I have asked 4 of my favorite YouTube channels to help me out with this, to give their take on how they power their equipment when they're out on the road. Now, I absolutely love my Baldr Pioneer 500 watt battery pack. It's made by a company called To Go, and Baldr is kind of the baby brother brand, if you will. It's sort of like Lexus and Toyota. So this is the less expensive option of their brand, but both brands actually are not overly expensive when it comes to battery solutions. So price is definitely something I liked a lot about this. Now, besides being a 500 watt battery pack, it has a bunch of ports to plug things in. So you've got 2 AC ports, you've got your standard 12 volt, you've also got 2 5mm 12 volts, and then you've got 4 USBs. There's 3 standard USBs and then a USB-C. That's awesome for plugging in things like your laptop or a lot of the newer electronics that come with USB-C. You don't need to use adapters and things like that. Another thing that I absolutely love about this battery is the form factor. This sort of flat top rectangular shape is absolutely perfect for the way I pack my vehicles, particularly because I've got the YJ and that's a smaller space, so I can stack things on top of this. There's not a big handle here or anything that sticks out on the sides. It's very compact, so I can get this into a lot of spaces very easily. Now, speaking of the top of this actually has wireless charging. So besides all the USB ports and the other ports, you can just stick your wirelessly charged device like your phone right on top and start charging it that way. Besides the form factor, one other thing that I absolutely love about this battery pack, and it's one of the main reasons I chose it over some of its competitors, is the fact that all the ports are covered by these flaps. And that means that when you're going down and you've got your top off, like when I travel in the YJ, I usually have the top off because there's no air conditioning, and dust is getting all over the place. The ports aren't getting clogged up with dust or dirt or water or anything like that. They're protected from the elements, having these covers on them. So I really like the way that this Baldr battery pack was designed to be a little bit more rugged than some of its competitors. Now, the thing I primarily use this for is for running my fridge when I'm out on the trails. And so I've got a SetPower RV45S fridge, and this will run that fridge for anywhere from 36 to 38 hours in and of itself. But I get a lot more time out of that because this actually allows through charging, which means I can plug this into the 12 volt of the Jeep, charge this while I'm using other devices. So when I'm out on the road and on the trails, not only is this charging, but it's actually running the fridge and everything else. And I can also charge batteries on that, drone batteries, camera batteries, cell phones. I can even plug in my awning lights to this and run it that way. So this battery has been absolutely awesome, and I really, really like it. But now I want to hear from Will from Venture to Roam, who has an awesome YouTube channel. It's a beautiful channel, wonderful stories. If you guys have not checked out that channel, do so as soon as you leave this video. It's well worth the subscribe on that channel.
Hi, I'm Will from Venture to Roam, and on this channel, we go on epic adventures in the American Mountain West, we do gear installs and reviews, and we even do some creative film projects in terms of celebrating the overlanding lifestyle. So I hope you'll come join our channel at some point, but for now, let's talk about power. This is our power solution. It's the GoalZero Yetti 200X. What I like about this thing is that it's so small and light. I mean, it weighs 5 or 7 pounds or something. It fits under my seat, and it's a workhorse. It does probably 80% of what the bigger models do, meaning it charges my drone batteries, it charges my iPhone, my iPad, it charges the kids' iPads, it charges the GoPros easily. There's plenty of juice in here to charge all that stuff. And it's really easy to recharge. We just have a 12 volt adapter that we leave plugged into the Jeep. So while we're driving, which is, a few hours every day, it charges it back up. So whenever we arrive at camp, it's ready to go. So I love that. What I don't love about it is that it doesn't have enough juice in it to really be a failsafe or to allow us to have some more luxurious electronic items. Blow dryers, blenders, things like that. They're not in the cards for us with this little battery. So in summary, I will say, if you're charging batteries, if that's really what you're doing, get something small like this. If you need the power to power your fridge, to power whatever the electronics that need that big watt draw, then this is not a good solution. But for us, it does the job and we're super happy with it.
Thank you, Will, so much for sharing your little battery with us. That thing is awesome. So next up, we're going to hear from Fletch from All Things Overland. He has an awesome channel that's primarily focused on reviews of gear, as well as a couple of trip videos and things like that. Great resource for finding out what gear you're interested in and getting some real world reviews.
Hey there, my name is Fletch and I am from a channel called All Things Overlanding. There will be a link in the description down below if you want to go check that out. But basically I do a lot of like gear reviews. I talk a lot about do-it-yourself mods. I'm kind of a weekend warrior type overlander, so I have a full-time job, I have a couple kids, but I try and get out for 2-3 days on a weekend, once or twice a month if I can. So as much as possible, but there are a lot of restrictions, right? So I talk about how can you overland with things like a full-time job, things like kids. So if you're into any of that sort of stuff, there's a podcast, there's a YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram. I've got, basically everything. So again, check out the links in the description below and come hang out. Love to have you. So today we're talking about power options. Kind of external power banks and which ones we use and why. So I have been for about the last year running this Okmo 1000 watt hour portable generator. And there are a couple reasons for that. So basically the Okmo is kind of an unknown brand. When I heard about it about a year ago, I randomly sort of stumbled upon it. And for this 1000 watt hour power bank, it's about $700 to $800. Typically, for most of them, like the Jackeries and the Blue Yettis and the name brands, it's about $1 per watt hour. So when you're looking at a 1000 watt hour unit, you're talking about $1,000. So for a pretty significant decrease in price for that, I still got 1000 watt hours worth of capacity. And tons of options, right? It's got 10 different plugs on it, so you've got a ton of options as far as plugging stuff in. The other thing that I like about it, and I recently picked these up, I have 2 of these, are that it has solar panels that plug straight in via an Anderson plug. So it's rechargeable from the sun, which I'm a huge solar fan. I usually keep solar on my AGM battery on my truck, but this just gives me another way besides plugging it into my truck to keep it all topped off. For me, 1000 watt hours has been a really good amount because I will run things like a diesel heater in the winter. I will charge drone batteries, camera batteries, flashlights. I will often recharge other portable power banks, like little small ones that I may use to take up into the tent to charge up my phone or run little lights and things like that. So 1000 watt hours has been really great because I can easily get 3, 4, even a 5-day trip out of it with pretty much no problems as far as running out of capacity. And especially now with the solar, I have the opportunity to charge it up during the day or in the afternoon when I'm at camp, getting ready for the night. As long as I can keep it in the sun, then I can keep it charging. Now during the day when I'm on the trails, it also comes with a really nice DC plug so that I can just plug it right into the cigarette lighter in the truck, and I can use the truck's alternator to charge it up during the day. And then again, when I get to camp, throw out the solar panels, keep charging it up for free off the sun, and get it all topped off. So you essentially have unlimited power with this external power bank. Again, with running a diesel heater, the other nice benefit is I can put this wherever I want. Versus the one that's in my truck that's sort of locked into my truck, I have to bring everything to that. I could take this, if I had to park somewhere far away from camp, or if someone else needed to borrow it to cook or do something with an electric stove or oven or something like that, they could take this over to their area and they could use it. So I like the external piece of it. It also just stays in my house, so it is kind of a nice backup to have if there was ever like a storm that knocked out the power or anything like that. So there are multiple uses for this thing, and it being external gives you a lot of benefit. As far as what I don't like, there are only a couple of things that I don't like about this particular unit. One of which is the display for battery. You can kind of see here, it is just sort of like a picture of a battery with 5 bars. So if you have 100%, 80%, 60, 40, 20. But if you're at 82%, it looks like you have a full battery, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're down 20%, right? So that's one of the things that I don't like about it. The other thing is it's almost too smart. So because it is trying to conserve power all the time, it will turn itself off for if you're powering like a fridge, for example. So that makes powering a fridge off of it kind of useless because you can't really keep it running because the fridge is trying to do the same thing. It's turning itself off to save power. When it does that, this senses that there's no power, and as you just saw, the light went off because it's like nothing's drawing, so I'm just going to save power. Unfortunately, then when the fridge warms back up, it doesn't have power to know that it needs to kick back on, and this thing is off. So my final thoughts, again, I'm a big proponent of the external battery. I'm working on a dual battery setup for my truck, so eventually I will have sort of onboard power all the time. But I have plans to keep this for forever, to just, again, be able to move around camp, to use in my house if I need it, to allow other people to use it if they need to borrow some power, that sort of thing. Power my diesel heater just separate from my main starter battery so I don't have to worry about a dead battery. So I love these things. I think they're great. Regardless of the brand you buy, I think having a good size capacity external battery is a great option for most overlanders. So again, I hope that was helpful. I hope that gave you some good info on this unit and sort of why I use it and why I picked this capacity. If you have any questions, of course, post up in the comments, and definitely check out the link in the description below to come check out my channels. Thanks for watching.
Again, Fletch, thank you so much for collaborating with me on this. So next up, we're going to talk to Braxton, who has a channel called Welcome to the Outdoors, and he's actually a van lifer. So he's got a van that he's building out, which requires a completely different kind of power solution than just a portable battery station like this.
Hey guys, my name is Braxton, and my channel is called Welcome to the Outdoors, where we focus on everything related to living on the road. So right now, I'm just going to take you a walkthrough of the van of my current battery setup. Okay, so we're inside the van, and excuse the complete disaster of a mess because I'm currently living in it as I convert it, and I just bought it a couple weeks ago and I haven't done anything yet, so it's a disaster. But anyway, this is the box that I use to power everything. Now, the reason why it's here, the reason why there's this box here was because I had a Jeep Cherokee, and in my Jeep Cherokee I had a drawer system in the back, and this went up right next to the drawer system so that it was level, and it created a platform that I can sleep on top of. So I was on top of here and on top of the drawer system. But anyway, on the outside of the box I have inputs, USB inputs, USB-C inputs, I have an inverter out here, but what's inside the box is kind of where all the magic happens, of course. So my current setup in here is a Redarc BCDC1225D along with an SOK or SOK 100 amp hour battery. What's special about the Redarc BCDC is that it allows me to charge my battery, the SOK battery, while the vehicle's running, or it has a solar input as well. I went with this setup because I wanted something that was dedicated to my rig, along with being able to customize all the inputs for power all around my rig. What I like about this setup is that I didn't even need to worry about power. The way I had it set up, while the vehicle's running, the battery's charging, or if there was sun out, the battery's charging. So I never had an issue with a dead battery. What I don't like about this system is that I don't have a proper input-output reading, so I have no idea how much power I'm using versus how much power is actually being put back into the battery. And Redarc does supply a little gauge that you can see how much of your battery is left, but I do want more information. For instance, I'm gonna have a lot more appliances in my system, so I kind of want to see the discharge rate of my battery along with the recharge rate. But that is why Redarc has Red Vision system, which would give me all of that information, which would give me all my inputs, how much I'm using, how much I'm discharging, and I can also set it up to where I can see my water levels as well on the Red Vision system. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to be upgrading the system to the Red Vision system so that I can have more control in everything that I need and want. And so that is my power system. Again, my name is Braxton, and welcome to the outdoors.
Braxton, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed to his channel, I recommend you do so. And last but not least is Gary, or Guy from BC as his YouTube channel calls it. Now, Gary is actually up in British Columbia, hence the BC part of the name. Really awesome videos. I love the scenery up there. He's got a growing YouTube channel, so if you're interested in some of the more hardcore wheeling up in British Columbia, definitely check out his channel. But I'm really interested to hear how he's powering all his stuff.
What's up everybody, Gary here from G from BC. My channel is mainly about off-roading, overlanding, and outdoors up here in British Columbia, Canada. The type of external battery I have is the Ecoflow River Pro, and I actually have the extra battery as well with it. I actually just got the Ecoflow like a couple of weeks ago and haven't actually used it yet and haven't tested it yet. So I can't really give you guys an actual analysis or information, but I can give you guys like my first impression towards it. The reason why I got the Ecoflow River Pro is because I'm going to be taking longer trips during the summer, one across Canada and the other one going down to the United States. Going to be actually going on a trip with Will from Venture to Rome, and also was highly recommended by my friend who's used it on multiple trips already. So one thing I like about the Ecoflow is the fact that it is portable and it charges 0 to 80% in 1 hour. So something to consider. Unfortunately, I can't give you guys a reason why I don't like it because I haven't even tested it out yet. So keep an eye out on my channel so I can give you guys a better analysis. Final thoughts, all in all, I really need a power station. I've been going on trips, longer trips for the last 2 years or so, and I think that's one important thing that you need on any trips is to have a power station or an external battery. Reason being, especially for me and the rest of the guys here, we use that external battery to charge our gear, you know, camera gear, our drone, if you have fridges, if you use any items like I don't know, a coffee maker to, you know, use during the morning. It's a good thing to have. Yeah, that will do it for my time here, guys. Consider subscribing to the channel. Link is down below. Stay awesome.
Gary, thank you so much. And again, thank you to Will, Fletch, Braxton. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much for collaborating with me on this. If you guys haven't already subscribed to those channels, I highly recommend you do so. If you haven't subscribed here, please go ahead and do that too. We'd love to have you travel along in our adventures with us. If you're interested in more of these collaboration videos, we're talking about things like fridges and rigs and rooftop tents. There's going to be a link right up here, and you can check those out. And that's going to do it for this video. God bless, and we'll see you on the trails.